YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, question mark.
It's no bueno.
We'll see. Unable to connect. It's just such a pile of crap. So we're I think we're live everywhere, but I'm just going to try this one more time. Because it bothers me that it won't work.
You almost got that figured out.
Just a boot.
You're not scratching your head like a monkey doing a math problem yet.
Yeah. All right, it's not going to work. Whatever. All right, let's get into this. Ready?
Where to Hunt podcast.
Let's do it.
It's okay.
Hi, I'm Dan Small, host of Outdoor Wisconsin, and I listen to Where to Hunt.
Nah, it's okay.
I'm Kurt Geyer with Working Class Bow Hunter. I listen to Where to Hunt podcast, and it's decent.
It's all right.
Hey, this is Bud Fisher with Catching Deers, and I think the Where to Hunt podcast is all right.
All right. Hey, everybody. We're live. Welcome to the Where to Hunt podcast. This is Eric, and we got Greg over here trying to
Fighting with the headphones.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of Irish in him. Like that Scotch ale over there.
A Scottish.
Scottish ale. That's pretty good. Hey, so welcome to the show. We're live, and we're going to call some sponsors here, and then we'll get into it. So I have my trusty notepad, so I don't F it up.
Attaboy.
That's kind of
proud of you.
where I'm at these days with all that stuff. And, all right, so backwoodsgrind.com. Like, if you haven't had their coffee, haven't smelled their coffee, and if you've listened to this podcast for any number of, I don't know, times, years, days, months, whatever, and you haven't tried it, shame on you.
Well, with the amount of their coffee you drink, you probably sweat it all out, and you always smell like their coffee.
I went through a lot of it this last week. But anyway, if you want to save some money on it, enter in code W2H podcast, get 10% off, and it's delicious. I like the Camp House. That's what I like.
Ditto.
Stake my flag right there.
Yep.
In the
stuff.
coffee. Switch your boots. All right, folks. Gumleaf USA, gumleafusa.com. These are 85% natural rubber boots. They are super comfortable, very durable, and they're good for early season. We were just talking about that. Or if you're down south and you don't have cold temps like we do up here in Wisconsin, highly recommend them. And the 10% you get by being a listener of Where to Hunt, really does save you some money. These are a big ticket item, so you're not going to need to buy another pair of shitty boots.
They'll last probably 3 times as long as any other big name brand boot that's made out of nothing but neoprene.
Yeah, I agree. So entering code W2H2020, you get 10% off. And then musket powder, which we do a segment called the Recipe of the Week. We'll get into that in post-production. But if you want some a buy one, get one on that, you can enter in code W2H podcast for a buy one, get one, and start putting that on everything in your house. My wife made some eggs this morning for my birthday, and she doused them in musket powder, and they're really good. Of course they were good. Plus they were good because she made them.
Of course.
So, with us on the line, Joe Braund. Am I saying your last name? Right,
Braund.
Joe? Damn it.
Close.
It's been a long time since I fucked up a last name.
God.
I'd
Give you one job. One job.
Well, it sounds kind of like Braun then, right?
Braund, yep.
Yeah.
Brawn with a D
With a
at
D,
the
yes.
end.
Yeah,
Little
with the D.
extra.
Yeah,
You got to enunciate the D at
gotta
the
have
end.
the D, right?
Everybody says Braund, but yeah, it's Braund.
All right, got it. All right, so let's introduce yourself, take the floor, tell us who you are, how you got here, who you're with, all that fun stuff.
Joe Braund. I grew up in Eagle, Wisconsin, which is southeastern Wisconsin. Pretty much been hunting. You want to talk about hunting right away, or
Yeah, I mean,
family, or
yeah, we can tell. Yeah, sure. If you want, however personal you want to get on the show, if you're comfortable with us in the audience,
sure,
you got a
whatever.
beer. I mean, we could keep those rolling. Yeah, and if you hunt public or private too, that's a question I like to ask too.
Mostly, I would say I'm 95% public. I have hunted private, but we grew up. My mom and dad, when we were kids, we went up to like Adams County, went up to like Crivets. We camped out, and everything was public. We have 8 kids. They never really had any land.
You're one of 8?
One of 8.
Holy
6 sisters,
smokes.
1 brother, and pretty much when I was a kid, everybody hunted.
Shit.
And I'd follow along with my little bow or whatever, and I wasn't old enough at that time.
Are you
but,
the baby of the family?
Second youngest.
Okay.
So I have a younger daughter, and then my oldest is my brother.
Okay.
And he's the one that tagged me along when I was like 12. He'd go up to Adams, and I'd follow along with him. He was 19. He's 7 years older than me, so
Okay.
Cool.
that's how the public thing started, pretty much.
That's pretty fun. And in the Northwoods is hard too. If you started there, it's a different
My
world.
dad had family in Crivets, so I think that's where he started when he was younger with his buddies.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of just followed tradition there. He gun hunted, but we never gun hunted with him when we were young. We still pretty much don't gun hunt that much. It's just a extra thing if we get an opportunity to.
Sure.
But mostly it was going up there to, I think it was like Lake Nockawby area by the Crivets or Peshtigo River. We'd camp at that Peshtigo campground, and we'd
Out of tents or camper?
Tents at that time. Now it's camper. But yeah, it was tents at that time, and we were all young kids running around. And if Dad got a deer, my brother, my mom got a deer, we'd go. It was never nothing large. It was just meat, thing to do, you know. We'd go help them track it and drag it out and do whatever.
Bring it back to the campsite, cut it up,
Pretty much.
have some back straps around the fire, maybe.
Absolutely.
Painting a pretty nice picture here. You had a good childhood.
I did have a good childhood. I really did. But yeah, even growing up after that, we moved. They lived in Kenosha then, but then we moved out here. You know, a little more country. We didn't have any land, but my brother and everybody was still in hunting, so we local cattle marine. You know, southern cattle marine units, all the big woods out here.
Yep.
What it would be like. Waukesha County land really wasn't a big thing back then at all. That I remember, it was always like the state forest. So you hunt all the southern cattle. That's what we did. We didn't have any leases. We didn't have any private. There was one private property I got onto when I was like 15, and I killed two small bucks off that property. But as time went on, I think that landowner died. I can't actually remember why I didn't get to go back on it, but I lost permission. Mm-hmm. So pretty much just grew passion for public hunting.
The challenge is definitely what draws me to it, and the fact that I can't afford private land. If I'm being honest.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 36 years old right now, and I'm looking every day. I'm like, should I buy this piece? And I'm talking to my wife about it. Like, do I want to buy a private? I'm looking at, you get 40 acres around here. You're talking anywhere from $200,000 to, I mean,
It's a little house payment.
yeah, it's like
it's another
all
house
that
payment.
for 40. Do I want to be stuck on 40 acres? What if I camera that woods up and I'm not getting the deer I want? Even, I mean, yeah, you can manage. You can't really manage.
Then
40
you're
acres,
beyond
but you
that
can
house payment.
Yeah, it's not what I want to do. I like to be able to go deep and far and anywhere I want. I like public. I have a passion for it. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bittersweet all the time. Me and my brother always talk about it because you have so many challenges on a public of people. You have, I mean, there's so many different kinds of people that go out there. You have hunters. You have squirrel hunters. You have leisure guys. I've had people out there just
I've had
cameras,
hikers.
just bird watching,
Yep.
whatever it may be. Hikers. It could be kids. It could be anything.
Yep.
Other than bow hunters. I actually think bow hunters might be the least of my threat in the public woods as far as me being successful. I think it's a little bit everything else.
You're just seeing everybody.
Everything, yeah.
Yeah, and it's some of the guys that'll end up off the beaten path, right? That are maybe
Pretty much. The squirrel hunters, I would say, is probably, as far as that season going, the same time as archery season. I mean, they're out there opening morning, and I had it where I was hunting this buck, and I wasn't hunting him, but I had him patterned on with a camera, and patterned enough to where I thought I had a good chance of opening weekend. And I get up my stand opening weekend, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's dark out. You get out there, think you're early, you think you got everything going right. The juice is flowing in your blood, you're ready. And you hear this branch break out in the background. You're like, okay, getting ready. All of a sudden, you got 3 guys walking up with guns and backpacks.
They're squirrel hunting.
Yeah. I mean, and not needless to say, the next 3 weeks, I never caught that buck in that area at all on camera.
There's
it's
enough scent there for him to change his pattern.
Yeah, I have no idea where he went for them 3 weeks, but he wasn't there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, so going back to like starting when I was young, I hunted just deer. I don't hunt turkeys. I don't really. It's strictly love for bow hunting, archery. I never really cared about gun, even though I did it. But I liked it when the deer were themselves.
Yep.
They weren't
Pressured.
Yeah, they're not just
Yeah,
running
yeah.
around. I really don't even like the rut as much as I like different seasons. Although the rut is the best time to harvest a nice deer, or one of the best times. But I just like the deer being on their own agenda.
Their own schedule.
The way I hunt is I'm an interceptor. I'm an ambusher. I get in between where I think they're coming and going. That's one of the tactics I like to use. I hunt. I try to hit some cross trails that I think are coming out of areas where they're bedding. Try not to get too close, depending on the winds. Obviously, all common stuff. I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like it.
And you've had success. So I mean, like, talk about maybe a little bit of the Chase Nation stuff, how you kind of came in with those guys. You got the hat on, the
Yep.
sweatshirt, which, by the way, that's one of the new ones. It looks freaking great.
Yeah, this is the new one. Yep. This is the last
Damn it,
one.
I should have put that over there.
I think you might have more.
I have the same one Greg's wearing, but we don't want to double up. And I got this
one's
nice
comfy.
package from Venato
I got
today,
that
so
too.
we're
I
repping
got
it.
them.
And
Those
I
are-
got this, for those looking at the
The
camera.
Venato
Yeah.
flannels are unbelievable.
Yeah, they're nice.
They're comfortable and they hold up like very durable.
They do. I was telling them I have the red one. I don't dry it.
Every
and
time
I think I've got a lot
wash
of
it,
life
and my
out of
wife
it.
does dry it. Every time I wash it and dry it, they look brand new coming out. I'm like,
the same.
You sure you dry? Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Interesting.
I don't get the little bird. Like
Good,
this has a little bit of birds on it and stuff, but I wear it all the time.
Yeah. Well, that's just it. You wear it all the time. And I got,
I'm in the woods. I mean, it's got frays and everything. I mean, it's used.
and you got a 9-month-old, so like
I
I'm
have
sure you
a-
get spit up on and everything,
Yeah.
right?
I have a 9-month-old daughter and an 11-year-old. Yep. So, I'm sorry. What was the question again? You were
Just kind of like how you got involved with Chase Nation and stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I was Sam Ubel, who him and Brad I think were the ones that founded it. Whatever. I think it was 2017 or maybe in the winter of 2016 they came with the idea of doing this. And I met Sam actually bartending at a local bar where I live, where he also lived off of in McWanago. I lived in Eagle, but I bartended at a bar in Lindy's on Lake Beulah. So he'd come in and I could hear him, and I knew of him from other people talking at the bar and everybody talking deer. And then he always heard me talking about, so obviously he was, inquiring and everybody wants to see deer pictures. And he asked me, he thought I'd be a good asset to represent the common guy, a guy that, goes to work and hunts public land, doesn't really, nothing's forced on you, do what you want, get out when you can. And that's how it kind of started.
It's cool.
I think it was like 2017, I want to say.
Yeah, 3 years ago.
I can't even remember anymore.
already.
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
think it's like
God, it's
3 years.
happening.
Yeah, right? Getting old.
Oh man, that's neat. So you do filming for them, and then they chop it up or whatever, and do what they do.
Yeah,
with it.
Sam he always encouraged me to just push the record button. He's like, doesn't matter what it is. He's like, I'll go through and cut out what I don't like or what I don't, what we don't need or what, is not necessary. I got to do a better job of that. But that's pretty much what he does. I give him my SD cards at the end of the year. Hey, give me your hunt. Or I mean, obviously we talk about it throughout the year, but that's pretty much how it works. I filmed my first buck with them guys in 2017. It was perfect timing because we were just coming out, and you always want to get good film for somebody to keep their interest and whatnot, and it turned out perfect. It was a deer that he actually named because I showed him some pictures of it, and the deer he called him double take because he looked at it, looked again, he's like, does it have two one big inside tine and stuff?
Nice.
Yeah, so he named it, and then I started the whole series of it of how I was going to get this deer and how I was going to work at getting this deer. I'm not going to give up on him. If he's still there, I'm not going to even go into it. He's pretty much coming out on the edge of a cornfield in the woods, and it was this was actually on private. This was butting up against public. It was a small edge of a golf course that I could hunt out in Eagle. But it was butting up against public, and I don't usually have big deer there, but I always put a camera there. I golf on Thursday night leagues, so I put a camera back behind the cornfield, and while I'm out there, I run out and I got my golf clothes
Fancy
on, and
stuff,
I'm
yeah.
running out there, and I
run
come
out
back
there.
with birds. Like, what are you doing? I'm like, gotta check my cameras, man. It's hunting season too.
What, you're like, hole 8, guys.
Double
I gotta
duty.
take off.
Yeah, you guys give me a
I'm gonna go
second.
take a leak.
I'll buy this round. Just wait a second.
Yeah,
I run out
I'm
there.
undercover.
So I'd go check the picture, and I had that deer all the way from when he started with his nubs of velvet all the way till he got out of velvet, and I hunted him the first week, and I got him within the first 7, I think maybe the first 10 days.
Wow.
7 to 10 days. So it was pretty cool. I went out there 4 times. I didn't see him, and it was logged in that double take hunt. I didn't see him at all, and I'm like, I have no idea where this deer is, but I know he's here somewhere. And I moved my camera literally 50 yards. And there's 50 yards where I couldn't see, and there was a little wild apple tree out there. And I put the camera there, and then next week came by pretty much, and I went and checked it from the golf, and there he was. He was on there 4 days in a row.
Wow.
And I moved that camera there, but I was still hunting the same stand that I wasn't seeing.
That's pretty cool because you're right, golf course. So they're used to some human scent then, right?
Tons. That's
which
the hardest
makes
thing
it
about hunting that place that I was. They will not come out during the daylight there. So, and this is all surrounded by a huge cattail marsh on the one side, which is a side I can't hunt. And where I could hunt on the golf course, I had to be not seen as far as traffic from people.
Yeah.
You don't want to be golfing and see some guy come across the 4th fairway with his bow and say, "Hey guys, good shot." No, you don't. What are you doing? I'm gonna try to kill a big bull.
Who's the haggler in was it Happy Gilmore?
Yeah.
You suck, you jackass.
Yeah, so I didn't want to be that guy. So the owner was nice enough, and he said, "Yeah, if you can get around this way, you can hunt this little back portion."
Okay.
So it was pretty cool. I had it to myself for a little while, but now that's pretty much gone too. So, but yeah, that was the first time I filmed for Chase Nation.
That's exciting.
and it
And
turned-
what a great first
turned out
hunt, too.
well.
They're like, man, good thing we got this guy.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that. But it did turn out well. Sam did an awesome job. And when I'm filming this and I'm putting, I'm like, man, this is gonna turn out terrible. I'm like, and then he's just so good at, in my opinion, so good at editing and telling a story better than I'm telling it.
He puts a lot of time into
He's
it.
good at it.
He's a storyteller. He's great. I seen him speak
he's-
at Safari Club International a couple years back.
Great at it.
I'm like, what are you speaking here for? And he's like, I just like to tell my story. And if someone's willing to listen, I'm going to tell it. And he did. And I was like, shit. That was a great
I've been
story,
begging him since we started because I'm not huge on narrating hunts, but I do like some voices and narration.
Yeah.
I think Bill Winke from Midwest Whitetails, I think he does a pretty decent job. I think Sam has a really good voice for narrating. So I tell him from the first time, I'm like, dude, if I get a good deer or something and I'm not doing something, I want you to narrate through this whole thing.
Nice.
Sure.
That's a good idea.
I like the way
Sometimes it
Sam
helps
does
tell the story a little better.
Yeah, you like the missing pieces and stuff.
What's going on, you know. Cool. So that's how you got hooked in with those guys, slinging beers at a bar.
Pretty much.
Some guy named Sam. And I was like, how do you say his last name? Oh, yeah. And I think it's Ubel.
Yep.
Right?
No, I always say Ubel. So if it's Ubel, I'm sorry, Sam.
Well, now he'll listen to this, I think.
Oh,
And
he'll
we'll
call me,
have
I'm
to
sure.
see.
Yeah.
I know. I say Ubel, but it might be Ubel.
It might be, I don't know. No, I don't
As
know.
long as you don't call him late for dinner, you'll be fine.
Right?
So that's cool. They're doing some pretty neat stuff. They were on Carbon TV for a little while. I'm not sure if you guys are still there.
Still on there.
And then there's talk of going to
short
Prime.
I think
and-
Amazon Prime coming soon with like short video clips.
Okay.
I don't know if he's doing full hunts on there, but I think he's doing like I think short videos as of right now.
And you guys are on YouTube also?
YouTube, Carp. I think he does stuff on. I'm not on Instagram, but I mean I think he's on that stuff too.
And with the smart TVs, that's been really awesome.
We watch them all the
because now
time,
you just get the YouTube app on there, you just plop it up right there. You can go mess around, like sending it from your phone or whatever, like you used to have to do with the.
Yep.
I feel like even 5 years ago, that was like I got to send it from my phone to the TV. Not anymore.
Exactly. It's
Time's
nice.
flying. That's cool. So you're a public land guy. That's what we are by and large. I know we were talking a lot before we hit the record button tonight.
I mean, I would be a private guy, but it's too hard to get land now without paying buco money.
Mm-hmm.
And where I live, there's not really big farms. It's like 40,
40 or
acres,
30.
80 maybe. If you get a farm out by me and it's 100, 120 acres, it's 80% field, and you got it's just too hard to get.
Yep.
Too. There's so many hunters.
Well, for me, like
Hunting less.
I want to buy land, but I want to buy land so I can put a cabin on it in a lake up north.
Sure.
So I have somewhere to go with my family as we start growing up. And if there's a bonus where I can get some hunting, cool.
Sure.
But that's not going to be my objective. I'll just keep hunting.
I've been
public.
swinging towards my wife. Like, we're not gonna get. If we're gonna get land, we're gonna get land for the hunting. Let's do it. Let's do the cabin thing too. But I got it. If I'm gonna buy land, it'll kill me not to have hunting.
I said that. I'm kind of. I'm there, and I'm.
and
I'm
I got her on board with
yeah.
that. So we're
Okay.
Yeah.
My
good place to
daughter,
be.
she's 11. She hunts.
Yep. Cool.
I filmed her last year, but she didn't get a deer. She passed a spike, which I was proud of her for doing. I mean, she didn't want to just kill something.
Mm-hmm.
And she could. I mean, first year, why not? But she
Yep.
didn't want to, so it was her choice. I said, you can do it if you want. She's like, no, I'm going to wait for something. I want at least a 4 or 6 pointer or something, Dad. I might have engraved that in her head a little bit, but
Not terrible. She's looks
no,
up
she
to you,
had,
so
she just
whatever
wanted to be
wants.
out there. So
Yeah.
this year for her should be exciting, I hope. She really wants to hunt, which I'm shocked that she wants to stick with it because we walk pretty far sometimes, and she sits 2.5, 3 hours like no problem.
That's
I've never
cool.
seen other kids do that. I'm like, wow, all right,
That's cool.
Might be onto something here.
Yeah, she's probably like
So-
dying inside, but she's like, no, I can't disappoint my dad.
Yeah, she's literally like not. I mean, she does have her phone or iPod with her, but I mean, she's just sitting there not doing. She sits good.
Yeah, that's cool.
So-
Kids that'll be tricky with kids because
Yeah, I mean,
they came out in the world with that stuff out of their umbilical cord, right? Like we didn't grow up that way. We just didn't have that.
Way different
My
now.
first phone, I was like, I don't know, in junior high school, I got a freaking track phone from Walmart and it was prepaid, and I was like, you guys, I can play Snake on here.
yeah, the Snake is a good game. Nibbles, I think that's called something like that.
At a text package, I only have like 10 minutes. I was like, this better be an important call. I can save these minutes to call my mom.
Right.
Okay, so should we talk public land hunting or what?
Yeah, let's do it. We're floating around here
So
down the lazy river of
you're a
hunting.
public land hunter. What's your approach? Like,
If I was gonna go pick a new property or
yeah,
something.
you're gonna go pick a new property. Say somewhere around home that you might have a little bit of experience with, but maybe you put, 1 or 2 sits at it, or you put boots on the ground once or twice.
I would say before I sit at a property, if I'm gonna go pick a property, and usually they are close to home because of I work pretty late hours, decent hours, to where there's not much daylight left. So
Right.
I gotta pick and choose where I can hunt when I'm at home. Out of state's a whole different thing, but when I'm at home, I have to pick and choose something close to house. And thank God, there's a ton of public land
Right.
around me. granted, there's a ton of pressure, but still. So what I do usually in like, I would say, sometimes lately it's been earlier now. I try to find some deer that I think are worth hunting by putting trail cameras out.
Sure.
Watching them grow in velvet. Try not to get too deep in them, but maybe go to edges where they're maybe going to start feeding out in a field or something, or try to find some type of bedding. Maybe I tend to find a lot of deer in grassy areas.
Sure.
Like if you're in the middle of the woods, I hunt a lot of hardwoods. I don't hunt marsh as much, which I should, but I'm in a lot of hardwoods, and I'll find like an opening where there's some grass, and you can see where deer have rubbed there in the past, where it looks like it's summer just toying around. It's
Sure.
not like,
rubs, trails,
Yeah.
even beat down grass, laid
well,
down
yeah,
grass.
you come out of the
find
winter and you find tons of droppings and whatnot. I mean,
beds.
yeah, hang a camera there in June or something, see what's going on.
And that's a tactic that I've actually employed probably in the past 3 years, is doing the same thing of trying to find some deer. I put cameras up. So
Yeah, if that's a new place, that's what
works.
I'll do. If it's a place that I've already hunted from previous years, I'll go off of the intel that I had in the winter after gun season. See what's alive.
Yep.
Is this a deer I want to pursue? Do I think he's going to be what I want to chase next year? Do I think he's killable? I have a lot of deer that I
You're
haven't
targeting specific bucks.
I'd like to.
You tried to.
I'd like to. Last year I screwed up. I targeted 2 that weren't there, and I really wanted to find them, but they really weren't there. So I wasted a lot of time on 2 deer that I had from the previous season that I passed, and I wanted them to, that was a deer I was going to target in 2019. Like now in 2020, I have a couple deer that I target, and if they're not there, I'm not going to waste as much time as I did on the deer that I wasted on this year, because it just takes too much time. Okay. So definitely want to have more than one.
It's a good thing to call out. There's balance there, because we talked
Definitely.
to Jason Campbell with Bed to Dead, and he was talking about targeting a very specific animal. But like I didn't think or consider what you just mentioned. They're like, well, I'm targeting, but what if it isn't really there?
Yeah.
So now
where do you draw that line?
After the gun season, the deer was alive. So that's why I thought this deer's got to be here. And
Yeah,
and when I'm targeting, I'm not saying putting one camera, because deer can slip through one camera. I mean, like, it's an
Of course
area
they can,
where I'm littering it with cameras. And
How many ballpark are you throwing?
I think last year, I have like 25. I've had a couple
I'm
stolen.
on like a one single.
No, they're scattered all over. I probably have 5 to 8 on one certain area, but again, it's not a huge area. It actually all depends.
Yep.
Some areas are huge, some areas are little. Every property is different. If I feel like I'm not getting the trails that I want to get, I'll add more.
Okay.
I kind of want to get a general inventory, but then I also want to, which ones are they using the most? Especially for me, okay, so this is a huge thing for me. I get off from my work for 2 weeks in November, and I go out of state.
Where are you going?
It's different every year. Last year I went to Illinois and Kansas. Illinois, I didn't hunt extremely hard. I almost got it done. I almost shot 100. It's in my upcoming video. I almost had a chance at like I'd say maybe 140, 145 inch 9-pointer, which would have been really good for me in northeastern Illinois. Okay. Or no, northwest Illinois. It's right Iowa, Illinois, and Kansas.
See, I'm geographically challenged, so
I'm
like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Here we are, monkey doing a math problem.
But I wasn't there that long, and then I went down to Kansas within my 2 weeks, and I was fortunate enough to get a nice deer there. And that spot is same thing here though. The pressure is insane, and that spot that we hunt is out of state city. Like you don't even find locals there. Every state I think we've seen like maybe 20 different states at one time there.
Wow.
Texas, Arkansas. Florida guys love it out there.
Oh wow.
Well, a lot of deer in Florida. 120-inch deer
They're small.
is big for them. So
yeah, and
small body deer too.
Yeah, small body deer. Yep. There's some areas I think that have regular, but it's mixed. But you come here to like a Kansas or Wisconsin or something like that, and you see 125, and they're in heaven.
Corn fed.
Yeah, there's big. Look how big that body is. You're not even talking about the rack that, like you said, there's
right.
So you just see a lot of different out of states.
I remember I was in Virginia and I saw some guys hunting and great huge rack, and I was like, holy shit, look at this. This was young, so I didn't like care about hunting a whole lot. I was really young, I was like 19 or something. But the deer is tiny. I was like, the fuck is that? I'm like, man, where I'm from, like deer get real big. That must have been an easy drag, buddy.
Same thing in Mississippi when I hunted down there. The deer were just like little dogs. Mm-hmm. But then in the same woods, there'd be deer like that would in the Midwest. It's weird. It was
interesting.
Mixed. It was really weird.
Maybe it's a dominant thing where they're just, it's my food, bro. Back off.
I honestly no. Even their bone structure was small. They weren't just skinny. They were just small.
Huh.
I know Alabama. Alabama, Mississippi, geographically right there.
Certain parts.
Alabama had lost a lot of their deer herd, and I'm not real good on the dates, but I want to say it might have been in the 50s or 60s. And from what I understand, I thought they took some Wisconsin herd and put it down there.
And I think you're right. I think I did hear something about that in Mississippi too. So there are some Midwest genes down there.
So there's some Midwest genes down there that there's a pocket of those bigger deer.
Sure.
Who knows?
Sure.
I'm not right on my facts with all of it.
So we kind of diverged a little bit, which
Yeah,
is okay.
We can get back to it.
No, but it's interesting to call it that you're traveling other states because that's been a topic of discussion here too. Like, how are you doing that? That's a big topic, I think.
So that's what I was trying to get back to. Get the cameras, trying to find a deer in like June, July, August, September.
Locally.
I can hunt September. It's later. So let's say I get off work at 5 o'clock. It doesn't get dark till 9 or 8 o'clock. I have a little more free time. Now it gets where we're busy in October, November. I can't really hunt here because I'm working till almost dark. I'd have to slip in for the last hour. It's just, so I take my time off. I go out of state and I stay there pretty much for 2 weeks. Sometimes I get that third week if the gun falls because we don't work during gun season.
No
Thank God
shit,
we hold on
nice.
to traditionals. Our company, guys like to gun hunt. So sometimes I get that extra third week to stay down there. But
What do you do early season for mosquitoes?
just deal with it.
Oh God, you're
It was
a beast.
bad.
Then.
It was bad.
You're one of those real men.
It was rough.
It was bad. But yeah, I mean, actually,
I had to ask.
somebody made a comment on that in my first film that I filmed because when I shot Double Take, it was September 26th or 28th
warm.
or something like that. It was 90 degrees out.
How are you
and
dealing with the
my
meat even at that point?
I had my my like mid-season coat on, my mid-season pant. I mean, I had a hat on, I had a muff on. Like what is this guy doing? And then I finally answered a question on YouTube. I'm like, well, actually, I'm only doing this for mosquitoes.
Yeah.
I said I want to penetrate. I said the only thing they can bite now is like my cheek or something like
face,
that.
yeah.
And,
Which they do.
which they do. But luckily that night I shot him. It was breezy out, and there was
Kept
it's
them away.
just like you could move a little bit without getting.
Goes to show you, I mean, yeah, it can be 90 degrees out and that'll keep people away, which is a good thing. It stacks the deck in your favor. The deer, if they want to be there, they're going to go there whether it's -2 or if it's 95.
I think the deer just move. Yeah, I mean,
They move.
My brother swears by. He's like, I'd rather hunt when it's hot and I'm comfortable because I see just as many deers. If it's, I mean, yeah, fronts have something to do with deer movement and stuff like that too. But as far as temperature goes, I don't think.
Well, but I get concerned about the meat, right? Because then you're gutting it, and then suddenly there's flies everywhere. That's a different problem. I remember when there was one November when I hunted,
Yeah, you
and it
can't
was
let a deer
hot.
sit. You got to make a
We
good
gut
shot.
it right away, but then I was like, there's like
Yeah.
so many flies. I'm like, what is this? This is never.
You do
I
your
hadn't dealt
best
with
to
it
make
before,
a good quality shot on an animal. Animals move, things are going to happen, but you do your best. And, if you make a good shot,
Yeah, that's
recoveries.
time of season. You just like
Yeah.
you gotta get on.
You got to
it.
move.
Yep. Recovery should be quick. You get to it, you field dress it, you get it out, and you get it iced. That's the way it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just stick some freaking bags of ice in the chest
Yeah,
cavity. and-
it's not the most pleasurable, but to be honest with you, as far as pressure goes, yes, the first weekend's terrible. Don't even try to really necessarily. Everybody gets to
you
you wait
get so
all
excited,
summer.
yeah, and then you go and you're like,
Yeah, you go and you see 10, 15 vehicles up and down this public road. You're like, okay, I'm not gonna go here. And you wait till Monday, and there's nobody. Second weekend, there's half as many vehicles, and then early October, everybody thinks in a lull.
There's a lull
I'm
thing,
out
yeah,
there.
whatever.
Nobody's out there. I'm out there. So that's another tactic. I hunt them days harder. I mean, I'm a firm believer. I go back to me and my brother have been looking at some of our trail cam pictures for the last 3 years. I mean, October 3rd through the 6th has been unbelievable day movement for big bucks for us, and we're
October 3rd through the 6th.
for like the last 3 years. Yeah,
Interesting.
October, and it's
Funny
weird.
how we've been hearing more about like
Earlier.
but like
A lot of it
very
too.
specific dates year over year, like the day.
If you guys look at your trail camera, look at your trail camera this year on November 21st. And my brother was in Kansas this time. I was here and had another friend in a different state. And every one of I would say he runs like 20 cameras. I'd say between maybe half our cameras, we had a nice buck. Maybe not half. I'd say maybe a third. But out of my cameras, his camera, we had big deer moving on that day. November 21st this year was a great day. November 18th was a great. We just started logging some days that like, okay, maybe we start paying attention to this.
Right.
The way I look at it is anything I can do to make my success just a little bit better, whether it's something small or big, why not?
You said your brother had asked you, like, what are you doing this year coming up to do
I
to
was-
increase your odds
yeah.
of success? Is that the same brother that was older that was showing you the ropes?
Yes.
Because you said one brother and 6 sisters, you said?
Yes, he is
Okay.
definitely my mentor as far as, I mean, I've looked up to him hunting. He's been the best hunter in my family. I mean, my dad, mom, they're all good hunters, but he's definitely the guy that puts in the work.
Okay.
I don't think there's anybody I know personally that
I have
puts
one
more.
family member like that that's
He's insane.
better than
He's-
Better's not the right word, just he's in a different league.
My brother's definitely in a different league.
Yeah.
He's too knowledgeable for me.
Yep.
But he year in year out he does. He's the type of guy that saw all this new thing about like mobile hunting and your stand's only good the first time and it gets worse the second time, gets worse the third time, kind of burn a spot out. He hunts. He used to only hunt the rut, so he'd take off like October 24th and he'd hunt for like November 8th or something. So the pre-rut and the rut, and he'd sit. If he knew that deer was in his woods, which he has cameras, he wouldn't move from that stand, and he'd always get a deer every year. And I'm not talking I'm talking nice deer, like 150, 160 every year. And he just marries it. He'll sit it all day. He'll do whatever. He's just the guy that puts in the hours, and he's going to get rewarded by a numbers game.
Let's talk about time in. So, and we're shifting a little bit, Greg, and I know you had some framework here for show notes, but time in is a big variable. So like you're in a good position where you're pretty happy doing what you're doing for the day job, and you get some time to have that autonomy for like getting out in the woods.
Absolutely.
How much time are you dedicating? You got a family, you got a job.
Thank
it's hard
God
for all of us, right?
Awesome wife when it comes to that.
Cheers to awesome wives, by the way. Like
I've honestly never heard one complaint about deer hunting from my wife yet. And I sacrifice a lot of, like you said, home time to go do scouting. Let me go check this camera real quick, honey. You got home from work? Give me 10 minutes. When really it's an hour, You're
here right now, right? Mm-hmm. It's a freaking Tuesday night. You're talking about hunting.
Yeah, she was asking, can I watch this live? I want to see
March.
Yeah, you can watch it live.
I told her, no, I don't think you can find it anywhere.
Uh-huh.
Nice.
But, no, I think she should watch it maybe. But literally, she has never complained. So that makes it really easy. And then growing up, plus when she was dating me, she knew how much I hunted. So it wasn't like it was just bombarded on her. She knew what she was getting into, kind of deal.
Yeah.
And then my daughter likes going out, so she goes out with me.
That's a bonus, right? Because like, oh no, I'm gonna take the kid. Yep. We're good.
Yep.
I can't wait till I can do that.
And then I really don't. I don't know. You were asking the question of how much time do I
just
really
in general,
invest.
right?
I mean,
and Sam, he's watching now, so he planted a question to Sam. We're not sure if it's Ubel or Ubel. And until you call in, I don't think we can answer that question because you can't like type what that's going to be.
Right.
Anyway.
As much time as I can. This year I couldn't. We built a house, so I was doing all my own concrete, all my own outside work, and then I had to do side jobs to kind of make up some of that money for putting into the house. So this year I wasn't very successful in Wisconsin. I didn't really get on to a couple of deers that I wanted to. So this year I didn't get to put as much time in, but I did put on a lot of time out of state when I was off. Like it's nonstop. Like I said, 3 weeks. But them 3 weeks were just strictly hunting. When I go to Illinois, I travel. It's like 3 hours to 4 hours, and I literally
sleeping in a motel, a car, a truck.
I've done them all.
I say motel, not hotel, right? Because
I'll take the cheapest. I don't care. I mean, when you're gone too, it adds up when you're by yourself. You have nobody to share the bills with.
No.
Out of state tag in Illinois is $485 roughly for a bow tag. Kansas, if you get drawn, is like $600, and it's going up again.
Wow.
So the first week when I go down to Illinois, I stayed in a motel the first night, get nestled in or whatever, and then I literally go to a close campground and rent a primitive site, and I just sleep in my truck.
You grew up camping like that.
But I don't even do the tent. I don't have time to set up the tent.
So you're just driving in with your truck.
Drive in.
It's a place to park
That's
and maybe
super cheap then.
use a bathroom. And
you're talking
$12
$50
maybe?
to the state when it's even cheaper. I literally bring a power cord. I always get the one that has water and electric.
Okay.
So I bring a power cord.
Charge your devices.
I put the extension cord out the window and put a towel in the window so I don't get any air drafts. And I bring an electric heater and put it in the front. I sleep in the back of my truck, like just across the bench. I'm a small guy. And
it's not even the bed of the truck. You're
not in the bed. I'm in the cab.
Okay.
I have my phone charger. I have if I use an Ozonics, which I haven't this year, but anything I got to plug in, it's all there. The only thing you don't really have is the shower. So I'll go to a truck stop I don't shower every day because I don't have time sometimes. And so the nearest truck stop sometimes 40 minutes away.
Right.
So, but I'll go to a truck stop and shower and then come back, try to hunt the winds. I'm not getting what I think is crazy dirty, but I mean, it's enough. Just hunt the winds.
Yep.
But yeah, that's pretty much, this year I slept 7 days in my truck and it was freezing. So you're turning that on, off. It's annoying, but I mean, to me, it's worth it.
Well, you see, you got the space heater too, right?
Space heater helps huge. But I mean, the whole thing of getting out of the car in the morning, changing out in the freezing cold ice, all my tubs don't fit in my truck. They got to go back into bed.
Yeah.
You have your bow and everything. You can't put everything in a little.
Bit of a challenge. You're kind of like, should I stay in my truck? It's so warm. You're like, no, I'm here. I got to go hunt.
My family thinks I'm nuts for doing it. They're like, my mom's offered, here, just take this money, go in a hotel. I'm like, no, I'm not making you
Well, then
paid.
it's part of it though too.
I like it.
It's more doable,
adventure.
right?
I actually enjoy it. People look at me when I pull the
I
camera.
got this bag here, this Sun Crusher bag, and they don't rep me. I'm not, part of that whole thing.
No, yeah.
Good or bad, it doesn't matter. But
Try to
I've
kill-
used that bag
anything's
as
good if you
a.
try
I
to
use
kill
that
some
bag.
type of scent.
I've treated it like a washing machine more than anything. Because that's kind of how it works.
Right.
And so for me, like you say, like,
it
oh,
on.
how am I gonna get my clothes? Because your underlayers get all sweated up and nasty.
Yeah, I bring a ton of clothes. So for the first 7 days I'm down there, I'm pretty much going through a rotation of clothes. And then my parents usually meet me down in Kansas, like on that 8th or 9th. This year they waited a little longer because my dad didn't get the buck he wanted, so he waited a couple more days. I'm like, come on, you guys are coming down, right? Sleeping in trucks, getting old, because they bring down a big camper and we all stay in that RV. But then I go do laundry.
Nice.
So But
There's
yes,
probably laundromats though too if you really needed to, right?
it is. But I'm still like, I mean, it's the rut. I feel like. I mean, I went down this year November 1st, so I'm sitting. You know, you get in the stand, you're sitting till 11. Maybe go out and get some lunch. Maybe sit till noon. Or if it's real hot, my brother and I have a rule of thumb. If it's during the rut and you see $3 in the morning, you sit all day.
Okay.
So that's
So
just
you see 2, you're like,
yeah, 2 is like, yeah, she's not so good. I mean, if it was the right
number
2,
three.
maybe.
Yeah.
at what point are you like, I hope I don't see a fucking third buck.
If it's the right 2, maybe. But honestly, yeah, if I see one deer, if I get my stand early morning, I see this 4-pointer come by and cruising by, and then it's like 10 o'clock, and I see, you know, whatever, another 2-year-old or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm probably not going to sit there all day. The action, I mean, I believe in the rut, either you're there or you're not kind of deal.
Yeah.
If there's chasing, but. So yeah, that's sleeping in a truck. That's fun. I recommend everybody tries it at least once.
I used to do that with my dad
I mean,
when I
I'm
was a
gonna do it
kid.
this year.
We'd
If
sleep in the back, you know.
I mean, it's expensive to go out of state. You got to think of the gas alone just in vehicles.
Sure.
Mean,
You're driving a pickup truck with a V8 or even a
Tags are
high-powered
more,
6
too if you're
Well,
a non-resident,
gas.
right? In some states.
$485 for Illinois.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the beauty about Illinois is you don't have to buy it early. So Kansas, when you do a draw, you feel obligated. You have to go, otherwise you're wasting $600-700, you know, because you have to pay that up front. Same thing with Illinois. I mean, you go to Illinois or not Illinois, Iowa. Preference points are I think are $55 to $60 a year now or something like that.
Wow.
And then you know for the good zones, you're waiting 3-4 years, 5 years. And then you got to pay $600 for a tag. So you got to go. Once you buy this stuff, you're committed. I'm not going to just throw that away. And then I really want to pay $100 each night for a hotel? I was like, I'd rather just rough it a little bit and, you know, and then if
Have
you
more
get,
of a story
and you get
too.
a big buck, you got the taxidermy bill. I mean,
Yeah.
it all
Yeah.
adds up.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you got to kind of utilize that. And
So-
and I don't have a ton of money. I mean, I'm a concrete guy.
Yeah. No, I mean, none of us do really. Like,
Right.
there's some, right? And that's a different caliber. People. We
Right.
don't have those folks on the show. I don't think we have had any like that yet that I'm aware of.
I mean, I wish I was one of those guys, but I just do what I got to do. I'm going to do whatever I can to make sure I go. So if I don't have the money, I'm definitely sleeping in a truck. If I had extra money, maybe I would get the hotel, but
Sure.
I'm going no matter what. Whatever way I got to go, I'm going.
When so Sam made a comment, and you mentioned it too, and you mentioned it too when we were in the kitchen having tacos. Your mom is quite the hunter.
Unbelievable.
So like,
That woman amazes me. every
what
year.
is? I'm curious about the conversations in your house around Christmas time around the dinner
bad.
table. Like,
Yeah. Do you get
Mom's
who
jealous of dad.
sucks? You know?
Or dad's jealess of mom.
They're
My
sitting on
brother's
opposite
like
ends of the
unreal. My mom has her own little strategy, and it works for her. And her advantage, she hunts like 50 yards off the road. She's 65 years. Well, she'll be 65 this year, I think.
You're not supposed to say her age.
All right, sorry.
Whoops.
She's a young old lady. But I mean, she's puts in her own stands. She does her own stuff. She did have to go to crossbow the last couple of years. I mean, she's a little
Good for her.
lady.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there was an incident this year. Actually, she got a buck out on Southern Cattle, and there was 2 guys probably about my age come in, and she's like, or they come up to her and she's like, "Oh, you're going in here?" And he's like, "Don't worry, we're going way back." She's like, "That's okay. I don't go back that far." They come out. She shot a buck.
That's awesome.
It's unbelievable. You know, they're like, "Yeah, okay, lady." You know, yeah, she's an amazing hunter. She's killed the biggest deer in our family, actually.
Cool.
And
that's
they're
funny.
all super unique.
That's a good strategy, but you still have to know what you're doing. It's not like she's hunting by the road.
She
That
hunts
is
hard.
the strategy.
It's
She's
ours.
still
Yeah.
doing something different about that, right?
Yeah, I think all of us in our family. I mean, I don't think we're like elite hunters. I think we're smart enough to get the job done.
Yep.
I think hunting is so much luck, but I think she puts herself in the right spots to give her a better chance than somebody that doesn't put themselves in that spot. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
She's had a lot of practice.
She's really good.
How long has she been hunting?
I was thinking about that the other day. So when I was a kid, she really didn't hunt much. I think she might have taken up like the last, I want to say like ever since they went to Kansas. So it might be like 9 years.
Okay. And so let's rewind a little bit
And
because
she wasn't that successful then. It's just been like the last 5 years where she's really starting to knock
She's
down.
starting to knock
is that
down
when
some
you
deer.
decided? So you mentioned offline that you weren't taking it like as serious
So,
from that.
they
It's always
went
part
to
of your
Kan-
heritage.
They
in
went
your
to
life, but-
Kansas. I've only been to Kansas, I think, 5 years now.
Okay.
They went to Kansas for like 9 years, maybe 9 or 10. I could be wrong. Maybe a year here or there or whatever. But I took it more serious when my dad knocked down. We weren't big buck hunters. We weren't.
Okay.
We didn't think anything other than a deer was a deer. Okay, you can shoot a doe. We get some meat. You can shoot a little buck. Cool. If you get a big buck, cool.
Whatever, yeah, cool. Look at those horns, yeah.
We're not
Yeah.
hunting specific deer. My dad knocked down a giant 8-pointer in like December when I was, I think it had to be 18 years ago. And that started the big buck thing in the family. And I was like, oh, that's cool. I wanted to do that. But I hunted the same way I always did. I never really picked up on strategies.
You're open on chance a little bit more.
Yeah, I got on that little private. I think I killed him 2 little bucks. I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. I got my deer, and then I started hunting my brother, and I started watching him, and he's like, yeah, I saw 3 or 4 bucks. I'm like, why didn't you shoot? He's like, oh, I'm waiting for something, a little older, a little more mature. And then once you start hunting more, it's just like you grow. I think it's like you get more passionate, and then different things irk you, or not irk you, but
get you excited.
Yeah,
right?
get you excited. Yeah. You just want to, it's like anything you do, you want to do something better. And I think it's harder to kill more mature deer. I mean, even a mature doe, I think it's hard to kill. I have problems killing mature does more than anything.
The working class get some old ass doe.
Yeah.
Like 12 years old or something.
Yeah, 11-year-old doe.
Okay, so that's pretty close. But that was like a big deal,
It all depends on the property you're hunting too.
Yeah.
If it's a piece of land that doesn't get a lot of pressure or hasn't had a lot of pressure, you're going to have older age class deer there because it's a safe haven. If I think the oldest doe I've killed off of a piece of property and it was public was almost 4, which is still a big doe, and she smelled plenty of hunters in her time,
right?
Especially in the area I got her out of. But big does are difficult to kill. They're
smart. Yeah,
they're always watching the noses
blowing
in
everybody.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, as far as taking it serious, for me, myself, I would say it didn't really start. I mean, I wasn't taking off work or anything like that. It was always just I guess I go hunting. It was nothing like, no, I need to be out there. I want to find these things. Probably, I thought 2014, but now I think it's maybe a little earlier than that. Maybe like the last 7 years, maybe. Okay. I would say.
And 7 years isn't like.
I feel like
nowadays
I'm pretty new to the game still.
That's how, right. So that's how I feel about 7 years.
Yeah, I feel like I'm pretty new to the game still.
Yeah.
I mean, we always hunted a little bit. I mean, I shot my first deer when I was 12 in Adams with my bow, which was really cool. It was a little 6-pointer. The guy comes. It was funny. We were at a gas station, and this deer was tiny. It field dressed at like 120 pounds. The guy's like, it's like a 200-pounder. I'm like, I love guys like that. You always get that story, the big deer story, the big fish story. But that was cool. But again, hunting wasn't hunting then. It was just kind of it's what my family did, and it's what we did. We go hunting. But now it's more of a passion of actually. I like the animal.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes, I harvest them, but they're absolutely hands down my most favorite animal. I think they're the smartest. I think they're very adaptive. They're obviously elusive. Go look in the snow. Where I hunt, you don't see any deer, and all of a sudden you go out in the winter and you look at the fields like, where are all these deer? Like, I can't believe there's that many tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You feel stupid. You feel dumb. Like, how can I not get you guys? Like, there are hundreds of them out there. But
where are they spending their time, right? They're down looking like a fucking tree stump.
I mean, I get the yard up and stuff in the winter, but I mean, still, it's like
the
every
yard
field.
They work together to find the food, scratch up the field to knock the snow off. So they work better in numbers than they do by themselves at this time of year.
And I would say that the thing about me going out of state, what triggered that a little bit is I kind of got tired of the pressure around here, and then the whole thing of I could sit 10 sits and not see a deer. I could sit 10 sits and maybe see 2 deer, and then I'm talking to other guys where you're on the western part of the state or maybe even a little north like Marquette area or, Viroka or all them areas anywhere west, La Crosse. They're seeing, you can see 10, 15, 20 deer in a sit. Mm-hmm. I just never had that.
Same.
I see 1 deer and
like, what am I doing wrong? Or am I in the wrong area?
Just the deer density is not very well here.
No.
Where I hunt with the pressure and the busy roads and the human interaction with all these deer, how many hunters, there's so many hunters in our area. Our area, I think, is growing up for hunting wise. I think personally, what I've noticed my own eyes on the roads that I hunt now, way more in the last 5 years than it has ever been. And each year is getting worse.
What's funny because they say hunting is on the decline.
Every time I listen to somebody say that, I can't understand that.
But it's also not. There's and I'll have to pump my own brakes here a little bit because I'm part of a different world of this stuff. But this new age hunter that's coming into this space, like there's a lot of these guys and gals that have been doing it for a very long time, right? That are avid hunters and or hardcore hunters. Then there's the guys that increased record sales back in 2015 from vinyl records, where the record sale of vinyl records, it was like 1989, right? But then there's these hipsters that came on
and want to get all that old.
And they thought it was cool. And then they did something with the tobacco pipe, and that's kind of happening with hunting.
It's definitely
because they want to know where their food came from. So like, good for them, right? I'm really happy for that. So it's 2 different types of hunters, but there's more.
Social media. I mean, I think we've really turned it into something different than It's definitely popular.
Yeah, and we need them, right? Like it's a weird thing because if it goes away, then
it doesn't bother me. I mean, it bothers a lot. I talk to people on a regular basis. It bothers. Why are you telling people about hunting? Why are you sharing? Why would you want to film and
Because
show
if we
people?
don't, then
It's
not
like,
gonna be
well,
around,
I get
you
it's
know?
not for everybody, but I mean, I like
It needs
to
to
do
be for
it.
enough.
Yeah.
I mean, I film. I like filming. I'll film just enough to know where I hit the deer. You know, that's enough for me right there. And it's just also takes your mind off of necessarily being in the shot too. Yeah, my brother's like, well, why do you film? Because he understands why I do. He's like, but it's gonna cost you a deer sometime. I'm like, yeah, it is gonna cost me because if I don't get it in frame, I'm probably not gonna pull the trigger. If I'm trying to mess around, maybe he'll see me or something. It could cost me a deer, but it's worth it to me.
Because it's a different type of passion, right? Like, it's another layer on top of what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's another
I
challenge.
get the ultimate goal is to knock the deer down, but it's not the whole picture. There's so much more to hunting than just the kill.
Yeah.
So that's another reason why I like public.
What I posted today, I posted a picture of or a video of like a possum.
Yeah.
I was like,
You wouldn't have seen that at home.
Yeah, but
unless
it's cool,
they
you
come
know,
hang
it's-
out by
I
a
do
bird
that.
feeder.
I film. I try to film. I'll put little clips on everything I see. I had a little raccoon climb up a tree and try to hide from me in one little branch. I'm like, I see you. It's like as I'm walking out, he's like looking at you like, do you see me? But getting back to hunting out of state and sleeping in the truck. Yeah, I only do it because it's just cheaper and it's more affordable. Is it pleasant? No. Is it doable? Very.
yeah, I can imagine if it rains, it's really hard. But the adventure side of that is really something, you know.
The worst part about it is what really stinks is, and I don't really go out when I'm hunting. I don't go out to the bars after. I'll maybe go get like something to eat, but I'm not down there to drink or I'm out hunting. So it gets dark at 5 o'clock when daylight savings kicks in. I'm sitting in my truck looking at my phone till I go to bed. I mean, there's no you kind of lose insanity a little bit. You can only look at so much stuff on Facebook and stuff and watch videos.
You can read, you can watch YouTube
but
videos, you can
but
catch
that's what
up
you're
on your
doing
stuff,
every
right?
night.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Talking to your wife, maybe FaceTime with the kids to bed or
yeah,
something
talk
like that.
to him.
or
Yeah,
whatever.
call my brother. Hey, how'd the hunt go or whatever. You know, talk that stuff. Call Sam or somebody and tell him what happened. He actually told me I shouldn't have left Illinois when I did because I was onto that deer pretty good. But I was like, I pick dates and then sometimes and it might be a downfall in my hunting strategy. But I pick dates and when I set them dates where I want to go, it almost sometimes doesn't matter what I got when I go.
Yeah.
And my brother's always yelling at me for that too, and they're probably right because maybe I could have got a deer.
What would you do different? What would you different?
Maybe stay a couple more days there and then go to Kansas and maybe lose a couple days in Kansas. But I don't know. For some reason in my head, it's like, I don't want to lose them days in Kansas, you know?
Sure.
But I always take out early there. So he's like, well, you never stay long in Kansas anyways. I guess. But that's the beauty about going out of state. That was the intriguing thing to me is I could see, I had no problem going out of state and not getting a deer as long as I saw a deer. As long as I was being entertained in my
You've gone
hunts.
enough where you've become familiar with certain parts of those other states where you're like, are you still doing a lot of exploratory
so
stuff?
Illinois, I've hunted the same spot for 3 years. I've only been successful 1 year. The first year I could have been successful if I would have been paying attention. The first night I hunted, it was like October 15th or something. I had a really big buck come right behind me and I was focused up here and he got ahead of me and I tried to get him back and he was just meandering. He was really nice. He would have been probably one of my biggest deer. But I didn't get it done and I didn't see him again after that. And then this year I could have almost had that. I had him within like 50 yards. But the wind was terrible and I can't believe they even got that close. It was blowing up at this hill. That's another thing that I like talked about for me to get away from people on public land. If you're hunting hilly bluffs or whatever, most of the guys hunt 2/3 way up, hunts the top. I hunt a lot of bottoms, a lot, which is
We know another guy that
super
does the same
unorthodox to anybody. They'll look at me and
Bottom
laugh.
third, right? Yeah.
I'm literally down in the vat. I'm literally down, but I don't like the ones that get real tight. There's got to be a little bit of
There's got to be some space.
little bit of space on the bottom, and I love it. Everybody's like, well, how do you control your thermals? And I said I don't. I've had better luck than not. I've had
You're
deer
going to see more
smell
deer, you're
me,
going to have more opportunity.
and I don't have anybody bumping in me, stealing my stuff, my cameras. Nobody hunts down there. I'll go down there.
It's cool.
So I'll take that chance. I actually like the trails that are coming straight down the ravines. And going
Even like
back
the
up.
freaking cliffs. Like, so I've hunted,
Seriously, they
you know,
climb
why losing is,
anything.
you want to talk about bluffs, there's some straight freaking drops or close to it.
deer
And
will
the
climb
deer will
anything.
even traverse that.
yeah.
You know, I made a
Problem.
mistake.
They weave in it, but they get it.
They'll get it done.
one
And
I-
so like, but there are no humans on that face.
That's where I tried. That's the biggest key is you're trying to get away from people, but it's so hard to do. So obviously, when I look at a map and I'm like, oh, these are 5 good spots, you might as well get rid of them. Because if you look at a map and you think they're under 5 good
Same,
spots,
yeah, you're not the
every
only
other
one.
guy's gonna be like, yeah, that's where they're.
you have half a mind and 2 neurons rubbed together, you're going to figure out the same damn thing, you know?
Right. So you got to kind of try to think out of the box a little bit. Granted, them spots might be good and maybe somebody isn't there. Yeah, you can put a camera there and take a chance. But lately, last few years, 9 times out of 10, there's somebody there. Yeah. Somebody's coming in there when you're there. So you got to try to, and that's why I think my mom is super successful out of state and other places is people don't just stop at 50 yards walking in off the road. People don't just hunt this little spot that she hunts all these travel spots. They're not like where it's not holding a deer, but the deer's got to cut through here to cross this road to, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And she's
capitalizing on it.
Knocked down some giants. So it's
That's
cool.
cool.
Yeah,
She's.
I would love for somebody to do a story on her. She is amazing.
Hey, here, raise your hand.
Throw us out there.
She's gonna do a phone. We can do it in person. We can do it.
She's gonna be super much. I don't know. I go up and hang a tree stand and I hunt. And
Beautiful.
So like, all right,
what's your
podcast
strategy?
is done.
That's it. I put my clothes on and I go.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Awesome.
Do you have? We got 10 minutes before. We'll try to kind of wrap up a little bit. And 10 minutes isn't super firm or anything, but I planted the seed in the beginning of the show. Memorable hunt. It's something I'm really happy to hear. It's one of my favorite parts of the show.
I kind of already talked about it. Double take was probably my favorite hunt of all time.
Okay.
Just because it was the first deer I thought patterned. It was the first buck, a mature buck that I thought that I did everything right and it paid off. I've had multiple hunts to where, you do everything right and you don't even see that deer. You think you do everything right, but that deer, that would definitely be, it was the start of Chase Nation for me. It was a big, we needed it. And going back and seeing my mom's reaction, I mean, she is more passionate about deer than I am. I can't go to the house without opening my phone with her coming over my shoulders, looking at, what do you got in our deer? What's going on here? She's just that mom. That is definitely my most favorite hunt. Everything ended up really, really cool on it. I don't know.
What were some of the details of that hunt? Like some of the things that really stood out in your mind, Like when you think about it, what are you thinking?
I couldn't believe, like I said, when I was at the golf, I couldn't believe how many times I had this deer on camera. So I always hear this from other people that, you don't get you get a big buck. And it happens to me all the time. I'll get a big buck on camera maybe 2 to 3 times out of the whole year. And that camera's been sitting for, 45 days or something. This deer I was getting 2 to 3 times a week. So I think I was really in his bedroom without bothering him by not walking in the woods. Usually I hunt the woods. I never hunt the edge. I'm not a field hunter. Mm-hmm. If you ever notice on public, you don't really see deer come out in the fields on public too much in daylight. I mean, yeah, they follow the moon or follow the pressure or whatever. I'm like, it doesn't matter because the people walking in there is going to trump all that. So I don't hunt edge as much. This deer I particularly hunted the edge because he came out to the edge every day. He walked up the corn line and in the wood line every time I had him on camera. And I only put one camera out there. And normally I flood the woods with cameras. But I just went about that deer differently. And I think I need to do that more in the future, but I have to find that deer early and be successful. I think that's a diamond in the rough type situation. Mm-hmm. I don't think that I can't do it. I tried to do it this year. I tried to do it last year. Yeah, it's not going to happen every year. The patience I waited for on that shot, that deer, literally in the video, you can't see that deer stood there probably for 15 minutes and didn't move. And I could have shot him like that. If you watch the video, my mom's like, well, I shoot him now, shoot him here, shoot him this. My dad's like, yeah, I dropped him already. Everybody's got their ideas. And I'm like, I want a broadside shot. I've had 2 bad experiences before then. I was telling you guys earlier. I shot a deer quartering at me, and I ended up hitting it in the shoulder. Or I'm sorry, quartering away from me and hit it in the shoulder, and it didn't obviously get any penetration. I didn't kill the deer. A gun hunter got it a couple weeks later. Even if I would have got through it, it would hit nothing vital, and it maybe would have died from infection or something.
It'd been too far forward.
It would have had nothing vital, yeah. I think Sam might have had a deer like that happen to him a few years ago on one of his shows too. So I was proud of waiting that long on that deer because I think that is probably the biggest thing. I think the biggest thing why people wound deer is rush a shot. Yeah, I mean, more times than not, you're gonna get an angle, or if you don't get the angle, I wouldn't take the shot anymore. Learning that I don't like wounding animals. Nobody does. This year, I guess I won't say it now, but you'll see in my episode, I had a marginal shot, and it was due to where I was hunting in Illinois. That buck that I was talking about, that 140, 45 incher that I was almost about to kill, it was up a hill, and the only trail he was gonna come on was like a 40-yard trail, and I have a one sight pin. And I can shoot like 10, 20, 30 pretty close, like an inch high at 10 and like an inch low at 30. So I can play with that. No problem. You can gap it. Yeah, I can gap that. No problem. Now at 40, I moved it. and I told you, Sam told me to stay there a couple days. Well, I left that night. He never came down that trail. I forgot to move my sight back. And I never look at it because I never take a shot usually over 30 yards. And when I got to Kansas, this deer was at 29 yards. And I shot him and I spined him. I got the deer. He went down right away, but I felt terrible. And you'll see in the video, dude. I'm almost crying because I cannot stand watching a deer suffer.
No, it's the worst.
Yeah, so I put a follow-up shot in him, and then he he's still kind of breathing and gasping and expiring. I'm like, do I get downed? What do I do? And he finally died, but I felt terrible. So I pride myself on trying to take the right shot, and then I did that with double take. It was a really good shot. He went like 40 yards. He went just out of my camera. That's here. You asked me what stood out in that video. So usually I started off filming with Sam. He's like, yeah, buy a camera. I bought a handy cam, like a Sony 440 CX, little guy.
Something basic.
Yeah, it has HD. It says HD. Oh, cool. It'll be good,
Yeah.
And I filmed with it for like 4, 5, 6 days. And then the day that I shot him, I forgot the camera arm.
Oh, no.
I'm like, you got to be kidding me. This could be the day. I actually texted Sam that before. I said, go figure. I don't have the camera arm. This is the day he's going to come out. And then, laughing about it. I tape it. Believe it or not, I have electrician tape in my pocket. I have no idea if it was from work or whatever. I might have cut myself in concrete or something. And I used a flashlight to like kind of hoist it up, and I taped the flashlight around the branch, and I pointed it at, because I knew where I was to shoot him if he came out. He was going to come out right by, I pointed in the screen. And if you watch the video, the camera never moves.
No.
It's not like I'm panning or anything.
No.
So that was really unique. I wish I would have somehow been able to, I should have filmed it with my phone.
Yeah, I should have taken a picture of it.
Yeah, because nobody's like, how in the world does this guy get this to yourself filming? And he's taping his camera to the tree, and he's shooting it where he's pointing.
Necessity is the mother of all invention.
So yeah, there's a lot of things about that hunt that was definitely special and unique for me. It was my first really big buck. I've gotten some other ones, but I always wanted a deer that was over 150 inches. He was 158 gross. Yeah, that's about it, I guess.
That is memorable.
Going home was the best part of the video. I mean, like I said, my mom, if you guys ever watch the hunt, my mom's reaction is she's hysterical. I mean, I put up on the screen, so I always took my hunts home, and I just plugged the
HDMI cable.
Plug that into the TV and turn it on. And like, yeah, here, I saw this buck. I do it down in Kansas too. I mean, I show them all my hunts or everything I film. Mom likes to see that stuff, so she's like, "Oh, that's a nice one. You get him? You got him, didn't you?" I'm like, "No, just wait." And all of a sudden, you can see the arrow penetrate through them, and they're all freaking out. It's pretty cool.
That's fun, man. That's a good story. Especially with like the coming up with the first year of Chase Nation too.
It was all. I honestly believe it was meant to be.
Happened all at the culmination of things, almost, right?
I mean, it's pretty cool to sell film, and your kids, 15 years from now, will be looking at you like, "Oh my goodness, that's my dad on TV."
Yeah,
it's just cool.
Yeah, document that kind of stuff is really something we have today that we didn't have a long time ago. I mean, I guess maybe the big thing on your shoulder and the VHS, but like.
Quality.
I don't even have a DVD player.
Is so much better.
Yeah,
let alone a VHS.
I mean, not ripping on anything, but even the old stuff like when I used to watch like a Greg Miller's or like even Lone Wolf when they first came out, it's all real fuzzy. I can't even hardly see the deer. Yep. But it's not their fault. That's just the technology.
That's what they had. And honestly, at that point, they were probably using the best stuff they get their hands on.
I believe so.
Yeah. And just like today, we're like 4K and like 8K is like right around the corner, right? And 5G is coming. And so you talked about like these trail cams that you can have a cell phone plan with them.
Yeah,
I mean everything's changing so fast.
There's some that I wish they would start bundling together because most people aren't just buying one now. It's nice when you can bundle your plans together.
Yeah, 3, 4 of them in a crack.
I mean, that's what you're gonna do.
Why do I want to be exclusive and tied to this one thing?
I mean, I like the whole idea how they do that. You can buy a ton of gigabytes or whatever, and then you can base each camera off of that one plan. I like that. Yeah, and add-ons are $5 or $4 or whatever.
Interesting.
So,
well, cool, man. I mean. Let people know. I don't know if you're on social or if obviously
Facebook,
Chase Nation is. So like,
Facebook or Chase Nation. The open forum is where I usually post something. If I have a question,
the Facebook group for it.
Yep, there's a Facebook group for it. It's called the Chase Nation Open Forum.
Chase Nation TV Open Forum.
Yep.
Greg knows everything.
Yes,
I don't know.
Nothing gets past that steel trap over here.
But yeah,
he's got all of the wisdom.
Yeah, right here.
A lot of wise stuff in them bottles.
Yeah, little Irish red ale. That's a lot of wisdom there.
A lot of wisdom. That's what we'll call it. Some people call it spirits. We call it wisdom.
22 full ounces of it.
Holy shnikes. Yeah, we're starting to collect some scotch over here.
You better have a scotch party.
Uh-huh. Is that a thing?
Could be.
I mean, we
could be an entrepreneur for it.
Get some scotch tape. Some scotch.
Not as cool.
No.
Unless
you had electrical.
Unless you got a tape
pocket for
I have no idea why I had that in my pocket that day.
It was meant to be.
It was meant to be.
I told
why.
Sam, like, this is definitely meant to be.
Yep. That's great. Well, dude, thanks for being on the show. We'll wrap. Hey, there's some folks that were on live. Thanks for tuning in. Find your way to the comment section and see if at some point you can respond back to some of the folks on here. But dude, we're happy that you took time out of your busy life to
thanks
hang
for
out with us here
hanging out with
at
us.
our quote unquote studio.
It's nice.
Yeah, it's nice. 1970 shag carpet. This is how we roll. One day I'll get some nice floors in here and some
only imagine what this carpet has seen.
Shelves. We have a window right here, so that's kind of awkward. Get a sign there, but
Gets the job done.
gets the job done. Well, cool. Thanks again, and we'll produce tonight, so it'll be live for the ride into work tomorrow morning.
All right. Appreciate it, guys.
All right.
Thanks, Joe.
Look at that. And then I'll end it here.